You've built something, a career, a reputation, maybe a company. Years of hard decisions, early mornings, sacrificed weekends, and right now, today, some of that is leaking. Not because you failed, not because of a scandal, because of the patterns you haven't stopped long enough to look at. You're building a career, a company, a reputation, and quietly hemorrhaging through it daily because of your poor leadership patterns that you refuse to examine. That's the legacy leak. It's not a moment, it's a slow drip. And the most dangerous part, you can't even feel it when it's happening. You don't even see it. This is episode 3 of the series finale, the Trap series. Episode 1, we talked about the confidence trap. Episode 2, the competence trap. And today, we're talking about your legacy, what you're actually leaving behind. Stay with me for the next 30 minutes or so. This one's a little different, but most leaders don't get to hear this. And I think it's really important for you to hear. Welcome to Lena Speaks. I'm Lena Morris, the founder and CEO of Authentic Encounters. I'm an executive coach, a leadership strategist. I am the person who will tell you what your team is thinking, but they haven't had the guts to say. So let's do a quick recap of the Trap series before we dive in. The confidence trap, which was episode 1, was the gap between who you think you are as a leader and who your organization is really experiencing. And then episode 2 was the competence trap, when your expertise becomes the very identity that you begin to protect instead of a tool that you use. And today, those 2 traps, if left unaddressed long enough, produce something permanent. It's what we call a legacy leak. Every day you come into the organization, you're leaving a legacy. You're either leaving an imprint of something positive or a bruise under your leadership. All right? So this episode is for the leader who is still winning on paper. Your numbers are still pretty solid. The board isn't really nervous about you because you're status quo, but something in your gut lets you know that the energy has shifted. All right? We're talking about the legacy leak. Most leaders think legacy is a body of work, results, and what you built, and it is to a certain extent. That's only half of the picture. The real legacy is how people experienced you while you built that legacy. It's the meeting where people left feeling smaller than when they walked in the room that you contributed to. It's the feedback that never made it to you because nobody felt safe letting you know exactly what was going on. It's the decisions made that was filtered through information because nobody really trusted you anymore. Legacy is not built in your highlight reels. It is built in the 10,000 invisible moments that people are cataloging, whether they tell you about those moments or not. What it looks like in real life is that your team is no longer psychologically safe around you. They don't know if they can trust you. It's the CEO who's the visionary and continuing to move forward in past victories, but doesn't understand that the culture has changed. It's the executive who keeps making more money, but doesn't understand that the relationships around you in the office have now changed. You can be completely competent, completely effective, and still be actively destroying your legacy. Not because of one bad decision, because of 1,000 small daily choices about how you show up that compound over time that you seem to ignore, but other people do not. The reason it's so dangerous is that by the time you see that your foundation has changed, it's already shifted. The best people in your organization are looking to trust someone else. They may not even leave, but they're no longer seeing you as effective. I want to tell you about leaders that I encounter. And so I'm not going to talk about just one leader because I like to keep the identity of my leaders safe, but I'm going to put a culmination of the leaders together because they're all pretty much showing some of the similar signs, right? They come into organizations, they do really well, they begin to make some positive changes, and they're listening, they're adapting, they're being open, they're not being defensive and things of that nature. But human behavior is patterned, so they begin to build these patterns of where they're safe now, and they begin to rely on what got them there. And you all have heard of the whole phrase, what got me here won't take me there. And it's true. So they stop making space to hear people. They pretty much go for, getting everybody in agreement with them, consensus, which sometimes is not really alignment. And so then when people begin to understand you don't have an ear to hear and you have your own plan and agenda at play, they kind of just slowly back away. I see this in organizations I walk into every day. Production is high, things are getting done, but people are miserable, right? People are miserable. And then you call me in to do leadership sessions with you or to do some culture work with your team. And then before I can even start, your people begin to tell me about what's happening in the organization. And then I have to be the one to deliver that information. Because what I have learned is I can't come in and bring tools and resources and culture changes when the people who have to implement it, the people who report to those leaders, don't even feel like they can be heard and to implement the tools. I generally have to sit down with those executive leaders and have a hard conversation about, hey, we didn't even get to the content in session one because we had to have a deeper conversation. And that's fine because most organizations book me for 4 to 6 sessions. You can't really book authentic encounters for one session unless it's probably like a youth event or something of that nature. You generally have to book me for a minimum of 4 to 6 sessions. And true to form, every time I show up, if people haven't had a voice and if their leaders have not heard from them, generally what happens is they need to have a conversation first before they even begin to receive what I have. So I'm telling you this because all of this plays into legacy, right? And there's 4 areas that we talk about people losing their legacy and it leaks. One is the presence gap. You're physically there in the building, but you're emotionally unavailable. You attend meetings, you respond to emails, but somehow, you know, you show up, you've already decided what's going to happen. Your conversations feel very formal, like it's a formality. You already got there. Your feedback is considered a distraction to you. Your people can feel it and they stop bringing real things to you. They already have seen it as well. You start making decisions with incomplete information while believing you are fully informed and you are not. And then when we try to tell you about it, you dismiss it. Ask yourself this. When was the last time someone in your organization brought you a problem that genuinely surprised you? If you can't remember, that's probably the presence gap working. The next legacy leak I usually talk to people about is the feedback drought. This is where you have not received substantive, honest feedback in your leadership in a while. You haven't had a 360. You won't even take one. You don't think you need one. You haven't had an offsite meeting where people could just really talk to you and let down the walls. So real feedback from people who have something to really share with you about how you may not be showing up in the most effective ways. You stop having one-on-ones. You don't even do that. So your people don't trust you enough to be honest. And your track record has showed up to be that you shut the door on hard conversations. So that's another leak. Okay. The silence in your organization is not agreement. It is compliance. And it's what compliance looks like when people have learned that it is not safe to have a conversation or to disagree with you. The next kind of leak I talk to people about is the succession silence. You have not invested meaningfully in the people that are coming up behind you. Most people only look at succession from the CEO seat and not from every key position in the organization. And so because of that, you're not preparing the people behind you. Development can wait. You're not investing time in developing others behind you. No one's shadowing you. You're not multiplying that leadership in other people. And that's at every key level. So when people leave, there's no longer a legacy of effective leadership in the building because legacy wasn't built. And then you begin to put people in seats that who've been there for a long time who don't even really want to leave. Okay. So you've left nothing behind as far as multiplying your impact of effective leadership. And then finally, the values drift is the final leak. And this might be the most painful one and the most common. You started out and you stated your values, but the lived values on the lived values that you live out and the values on the wall, they don't even intersect anymore. It's because how you respond under pressure and things of that nature, people begin to see the real you. They begin to see the gap between what you post on the wall and the patterns you live out in the room. They don't say anything. They just stop trusting you. They give you the fake smiles and they give you the surface conversations. These are the four kind of leak points: the presence gap, the feedback drought, the succession silence, and the values drift, that most leaders have at least two of them. Some might even have four. The question is, which ones do you possess? I want you to notice something right now. Something, hopefully, in the time that I've been speaking to you, has shifted for you. You started off as a high performing leader and you were on your way to somewhere. And now, hopefully, you're asking yourself different questions, not about how you get better results, but what you're actually leaving behind. What is the legacy that you're leaving behind, even in your current role? Here's what I know about leaders. If you're still listening at this point in time, you have at some point dealt with hard decisions and you've made the hard decisions. You've showed up when people's back was against the wall and you led well, but somewhere along the way that has changed. Leaders who protect their legacy are not usually the most talented or most credentialed leaders in the room. They are the ones who remain genuinely curious about whether they are right or whether they are wrong. They get comfortable being uncomfortable, hearing about where they can improve. They don't protect their comfort. They're willing to receive the truth because they care about their legacy more than people's approval. And in order to do that, you have to have a level of resilience and emotional capacity that you don't crumble under the weight of honest feedback. The most courageous leadership act you could do is not be bold in the boardroom. The most courageous thing you can do is have an honest conversation about the leader you're still becoming. Here's what I want you to know. When people are having conversations with you and they're giving you honest feedback and your nonverbals are this, you're pushing them away or you're posturing and you're dismissing people, that's the legacy you leave. You don't come off as an effective leader in that moment. People see it. And it's most uncomfortable because how sad is it for you to sit at the seat of that level of leadership and your legacy now looks like you're a coward. These are hard words to say, but these are what the people are saying about you. And these are the things that when I come to organizations and I work with leaders, I have to have those hard conversations. And I have to tell them all the years that you're building something, you want your legacy to mean something more than a title, more than I was a CEO, more than, oh, my legacy is we got a new building built. That's great. Brick and mortar will decay, but your imprint or the bruise that you leave, either one of those legacies will live far longer through the scars and the hurt and the pain. It'll last longer than that brick and mortar. So here's my question. Are you an executive leader who is ready to look at the legacy that you're leaving behind and how it may be leaking in present day? Listen, we have programs that can help leaders, and you'll find them on our website. You can reach out to me on AuthenticEncounters.llc.com, fill out the contact form. We'll get back with you. There'll be links in the show notes to 2 programs that we have to offer. I have a weekly newsletter that comes out every Tuesday that you can subscribe to. You can find that on the website as well. Here's what I want you to know. The fact that you are still here right now, sitting with this, that already tells me something about the kind of leader you desire to be and the kind of legacy you're capable of building if you have support. And that's exactly what Authentic Encounters does. We help you have an authentic encounter with yourself as a leader first through self-awareness, and then we help you look at the legacy that you leave behind. I'm excited about how we could support you and join you in that journey of stopping that legacy leak and helping you build an intentional legacy that you're leaving behind. And once again, I want to remind you, this is not about the CEO and planning their succession. This is about the legacy leak at every key role throughout the organization. Listen, if the people who have worked closest with you over the last 3 years were to ask and describe your leadership legacy in 3 words, say not directly to you, but honestly to somebody that they trust, what are the 3 words you think that they would use? And do you think those 3 words would be the same 3 words that you would use? If you're not clear on what that would be and you're not sure, reach out to Authentic Encounters. We can help you. We want to help you stay curious about the leader that you're becoming, about the legacy that will actually land. This is what I want you to know. If this episode brought something real, if you want to take the next step, not when things slow down, because things will never slow down. You understand that, right? Why don't you join us in the 360 Leadership Insight Sprint? It's a structured, confidential, honest look at how the people around you are experiencing you. Not what they say to your face, but what they actually think about you. It closes that feedback drought that we talked about. It maps your leak points, and it gives you a clear picture of what to act on. You cannot close a leak that you cannot see. If that's not for you, we're opening up the Authentic Leader Collective. It's going to be a monthly membership for membership community for C-suite and executive leaders who are serious about this work. It's not a webinar. It's not a certificate program. It's just room for leaders who have agreed to stop performing for each other and to start learning from each other. It's where hard things will be said and hard things will be received, and where your legacy will be taken seriously. Like I said, both of these links will be in our show notes. You know how to get in touch with us on AuthenticEncounters.llc.com, the newsletter, go to all of our socials. I'm Lena Morris. This is Lena Speaks. Lead with courage, lead with clarity, lead like you already know who you are and who you're still becoming. I'll see you next week.